yeah, tomboy, yeah, you want the jeans on, t-shirt, and you probably remember when I was like, well, don't you ever put that basketball down? I mean, you would bounce that thing from Crenshaw or from Century Boulevard all the way. I could hear the ball all the way down the street. Well, Shay was coming home. She was coming in from school in the backyard. So that's where how I was disappointed. I just got tired of the little boy look when I wanted you to look pretty. Because you were pretty, and you just did not want me to just do what a lot of mothers like to do with their little girls.
A child grows into their freedom and out of the shackles of arbitrary constructs made by the misinformed, dressed as the all-knowing and righteous among us. Non-conforming kids get it 10 times worse, often without the language or maps to find their own sense of space in this world. How they want to present in a world full of bins, boxes, groups, tribes. The parents fall easily into this social indoctrination, some unable to see what was never meant to be hidden, a child's own voice, their own personhood, their own will, their own truth. This is This ShXt Open, a story podcast about coming into who you are while accepting the things you cannot change. So, how do we undo and erase our disappointment and allow our children to create their own space? To speak boldly in their attitudes, their behaviors, their voices. How do we begin to learn to accept what is and not get so caught up in what could be or should be? Does it start with the parent or the child? Who should take lead to break the chains of disappointment and despair? For my own sanity and healing, I stood. I willingly guided my parents forward to the table of discourse. It did not happen immediately, but over time, we talked a little more than the last. With empathy, quiet resolve, firm in our beliefs, but with open hearts. This is Rhythm and Blues, Part 3, and This ShXt Open. I am picking up my mom for a road trip to Virginia Beach. The car ride gives us a chance to talk, but she takes the opportunity to ask questions she really wants to know. It is a learning and growing experience for both of us. I am truly appreciative that she's feeling more comfortable talking about it, more open, more supporter, less my parent. Hey, Ma.
Hey, Shay. On a daily or from time to time, do you get some pullback in society or in public or in business or I don't know about work? So I just wonder about those things. Are you comfortable in your own skin?
I think now I am, as I am, how I present myself. Mm-hmm. I told you before, I still have some hang-ups.
And you care to talk about that? Maybe one or two?
It's just, I still like my chest to go away.
Oh,
There's still some things that are so closely identified with being female that I would like for them to go away. Mm. And I think that's why I cling so much to that serenity prayer. Yeah, there may be some short-term fixes, but we talked about before when I considered top surgery.
I remember, yeah.
That why I'm not going through with it is because I feel like I'm probably baking on more problems than what I currently have, which is with the scarring and potential for complications. And after having 2 ACL surgeries and just kind of all of the post-op, it just got me thinking that, okay, for the aesthetic, which is really what I'm going for, which is to have a flat look, is it worth the time, the money, the pain, the scarring, to wake up and there's nothing there, will make me feel really good. But eventually you just got to kind of weigh your choice. We have our discussions about why don't I have kids? Because I don't have kids because that's a very, very real female function. And I don't identify with that. And so to take myself there, to get impregnated, to carry a child, to give birth to a child, I am then agreeing to being female. And that's just something that I feel like I will never fully agree or be comfortable with. And that very act in itself, and then to be called mother, are all things that I'm not comfortable with. In my mind, that's not what I am. Even though I have the tools to give birth, that's just something that I don't identify, and I don't want to be put in a position to deal with that. Because I don't think I will openly accept it.
Since you mentioned you wouldn't identify being called mom or going through the process of being pregnant and giving birth, I think I'm hearing two things, not being called mom as well as, or that you identify more with the male being called dad.
Yeah, I don't identify with that really either.
Oh.
And I think that's why I'm starting to come into being more comfortable in what I call the middle. I don't feel male. So, okay, people are like, hey, you're going to transition? You're dude now? And I'm like, no. There are things that I identify more on the male end of the spectrum in terms of masculinity. Yes. The strength, the power, the being a protector, stuff like that. More masculine adjectives I tend to cling to, but I don't see myself as a guy either. It's something that I know when I was younger, I used to always have this weird sensation or thought process that could there be a combination of the two, where you're not male, you're not female, you're kind of both.
Can you? Did you do the research?
Yeah, so in terms of sexual organs, there are people that have both male and female sexual organs. Those are intersex folks. It's a rather small population of folks in the world that fit in that category. In terms of gender, they have terms like agender or non-binary or androgynous. And I'm experimenting with those, meaning that those feel a lot more comfortable. It's a lot more space in there to feel a little bit more comfortable rather than say, I'm just in this box over here because I'm biologically what you call a female.
Was that popular, or in your research, people that are sort of feel that they're both? How common is that? It sounds like that would be sort of awkward or uncomfortable or confusing, stressful. Just the thought of it is just right now to imagine that it doesn't sound or feel very comfortable at all.
It's not.
I would think it would not be.
For me, it's, you got this double effect, right?
Yeah.
Like what you're trying to create your own space, right? Literally in terms of, okay, you're not male, you're not female, so you're going to carve out this space in the middle. But what is that, right? And you're trying to define that. And then you have people on the outside that are either trying to get informed about you or want to place you, and you don't really have a language to help them place you because you haven't come to that yourself. And so for the sake of expediency, you just like, well, let's just stick with the she pronouns and put me here. But that's internally, that's not where I really feel comfortable. Anytime people see that folks are kind of teetering or they don't have permanency in terms of their understanding, then yeah, you're kind of looked at as you don't know what you want. And in reality, we are all born into a very binary type of world. It's either black or it's white. It's hot or it's cold. You're male or you're female. And so you're not really given a choice at all. You're born, they look between your legs. They either put blue on you, they put pink on you. They either give you an M or they give you an F. And that's how you're reared. And that's how you're treated. There's this whole path that's laid out for you. before you can even speak or walk or figure things out for yourself, you got between society, parents, everyone that has laid out this path. And then here I go saying, you know what, I don't care about your path. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Well, let me jump in just for a second here. As we talk, questions keep popping up, and then we move on to something else, and I forget what I want to ask at that point. And what I think I'm hearing is that you clearly stated you don't know whether you feel more male or female. So you're trying to decide that, or come into which one you think you are, because you said you're sort of like in the middle. So according to what I've read or heard, people say that people or children are born. It's genetic. People are born. Is that correct? Either gay. Then why don't they know whether they feel that they're gay, being a male that feels female, or vice versa? Why is there a gray area that you don't know which way you are or want to be? And that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah. So there's two things that we're trying to balance. So there's one in terms of sexual orientation, and that's who you are attracted to, who you're physically attracted to, who you're emotionally attracted to, basically who you like to sleep with. Either you're gay, you're bi, for females that like females, you're lesbian, and there's a whole bunch of mixes in between. That's just simply who do you like to connect with on a very spiritual, physical level. And in some cases, you know, if you're heterosexual, procreate. Second part of that has nothing to do with your gender, which is mentally, how do you identify on the male-female spectrum, from a feminine to masculine spectrum. And then you just have your sex, which is just science. Either you're born with Y chromosomes or you're not. Or you have like a kind of a combination, which is where intersex comes in. And so that gets into, you know, for those that do make the full transition, even if there is a female that transitions to male, they've gotten the top surgery, they've gotten the bottom surgery, they've grown a beard, they're taking testosterone, they've changed their voice, and they live as a male in society. Biologically, they're still female, because you can't change that. So I'm not arguing that I'm biologically female. There's no argument to be made there. I'm not arguing that I like women. That's who I connect best with. What I'm arguing and trying to find a space for is there are moments where I feel male and there are moments where I feel female. So the moments that I feel male, am I male? In my mind, no. And I shouldn't push to check that box.
In what ways do you feel more female?
Usually more in a sexual nature with another woman.
So when you're with another woman, you're more or less the dominator as a male.
I can be.
Oh, so sometimes you feel that you're more the female, and other times you feel you're more the male?
Right.
Wow.
It's an energy thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, because the thing is why cut off one or the other?
Do you have a preference?
I think I'm predominantly submissive in a physical attraction. However, out in the streets, as I like to say, I like to present as the full dominant one. I take ownership of everything. I prefer that role, if you want to call it that. But I don't think that necessarily has to transfer to the bedroom.
Right.
It is what it is. And I like the ability to float as I feel. And that's why I'm liking more androgynous and non-binary, because that gives me the ability to just move as I feel.
Why can't you be more feminine? Because I've seen many times, so I don't know anyone personally, but women that say, I'm bi, I like both.
Yeah.
So why don't you, or can you say that you're bi?
So
you're telling me sometimes you feel male and sometimes you feel female.
Right.
So isn't that this Is that different from women that I've seen interviewed on TV? I don't know, like I said, anyone directly, but they'll say, well, I'm bi, or I got married and my husband knows that I like women also.
Right. So again, when we use the languages bisexual, heterosexual, and homosexual, you need to be thinking, I hate to say it, but what do you like to do in the bed? Like, who's in your bed? Is it a girl in your bed, or is it a boy in your bed? Right? When you use those three terms. And so when you're talking gender, we're not in the bed. We're just talking behavior. Do you have more of a masculine posture, or do you have more of a feminine
So what do you
way
think
about
you
yourself?
have?
So, like I said, I am most comfortable presenting and being more in my masculine posture.
Yes.
That is just where I like to be. There's no thought process in it. It just is. Where the thought process comes in, and what I struggled with growing up was trying to bring out the more feminine behavior. That became like a 1-2, 1-2. Okay, flip your hand. Okay, smile. Okay, make sure you're swinging your hips and stuff like that. This is very, very uncomfortable. So now getting to bi, which is who do I like in my bed? Do I like boys and girls in my bed, or do I just like girls in my bed, or do I just like boys in my bed? I can't attach to males on an emotional level. So, hate to say it, it would just be a sex act. And then it's like, okay, sex act is complete. That's it. There's no marriage. There's no emotional connection. There's no I love you. There's none of that. It was just like an equal exchange of an activity. That's it. Point blank. For women, I can get on a very deep spiritual and emotional level in terms of attachment, to include obviously the physical and romantic, which is why I prefer to be with women if we're talking about long-term partnership. And then who do I love? Who do I feel most connected to? You can do both equally well. Like, you can be equally romantically and emotionally and physically connected with either sex.
Are you struggling as much as you did 10 years ago or 5 years ago? Or are you feeling more comfortable in your space or your lifestyle?
Yeah, so my life is, I'm very content in my life.
Well, that more so than you were years ago.
Yeah, so I came out at 32. I will be 42 in October. So within a 9-10 year span, I've grown into who I am, what I am, and very comfortable in it. Because to me, I feel like I am so much closer to who I'm supposed to be. 5-10 years ago, when I was just kind of on that ledge, right? I don't know what the heck I am. Because I got all this noise in my head about what I'm supposed to be, but I don't feel that. And then as far as my job, I've never really had any issues with it in my job. I always say, if you ask me the question, pending certain things, I will willingly give you the answer, because I value just being a transparent person. And then there's nothing in my life that I feel ashamed of. And to me, I feel like that's just a good place to be. I live a life of very open, transparent honesty. There's an alignment there. There's no juggling or hiding or being something that I'm not. And so those that have mustered the courage to say, hey, you're a little different, I just want to confirm what I think about you. Are you or are you not? I just answer matter-of-factly, yes, I'm gay, I like women, let's keep it moving, And my coworkers, generally, it's just that. They just go, oh, a lot of them will tell me, hey, from a faith perspective, I don't agree. Okay, well, that's great to know. Let's keep it moving. Our mission has nothing to do with who I sleep with. That's that. Hey, Ma. Yeah? Yeah, I made it home safe. Yes, I'm getting something to eat right now. No. No, I actually enjoyed it. It was a really good conversation.
The following is an excerpt from episode 7 of Crack This Shit Open.
The weight of it all. I had thought if I had gotten the performance right, the smile perfectly replicated, my voice light and happy, my demeanor, Diana Ross and my mother all at once. But performing for other people's happiness was a road too steep for me to climb. Having to juggle so many roles outside of me. Dutiful daughter, perfect girl, commander of soldiers, leaders. And now this performance as her was just knee buckling. Every child desires to have a bond with their parents and know that they support them no matter what. To know that they matter and are valued. Sometimes great lengths are taken to garner our parents' attention, their pride, and their acceptance of us, even if it means sacrificing who we truly are. But at what cost? What do we gain? And is the benefit of losing ourselves more important than what we are able to keep? Stay tuned for episode 7, her performance of Crack This Shit Open.
Crack This Shit Open is narrated and produced by Shay Potter. Editing on this episode from Chelsea Sutton and Shay Potter. Sound design and mix by Zach Hahn. Special thanks to Brenda Joyce Potter in this episode. Music in this episode is Pack of Jacks by Lance Conrad. Our theme song is by Blue Dot Session. Please check out more at our website, ShaylaDPotterMedia.com. That's ShaylaDPotterMedia.com. Crack This Shit Open is owned by Be Better Media Productions Company.